Hello everybody, welcome back to another video here at Rule 1 Model Railways. Today there's a bit of a giveaway of what we're doing today. I don't know if you can see right there, there's a new section of wood. We are going to build a new layout today. So today we're going to focus on baseboards. Stay tuned for more. So welcome back to the channel. We are cutting wood today, hence the mask. We are making the baseboards for our new 12 foot by 6 foot model railway, and I thought I'd let you have a quick peek of how I go about making my baseboards. So without further ado, I'm going to show you where we're at. I've already done one cut so far. We've got 3 8 foot by 4 foot boards, and we have 8 3-inch by 1-inch planed timbers, and they're going to form the basis of our baseboards. But let's have a look. So what are we doing here? We are measuring exactly 4 foot down the board in 4 foot sections. Really, this isn't the right way to do it. I should have an engineer's square coming in across here, but I don't have that, so we're improvising today. That's assuming that your boards are exactly square. There we are. So I've got 4 markings, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got a perfect straight edge here with a steel rule. It's only 1.5 foot and this is a 2.5 foot board. So I shall have to move it around a couple of times, but that's okay. We'll get there. So I'm using the first line that we used to line it up with, up to the second line. Right there, perfect. That's it. Now to cut this, I'm going to move it just there and sit on this bit of wood. If I move this round, you'll see I have 2 inches of clearance underneath with these. The 3x1s are placed underneath right now to help us. I've got a circular saw, and we set the depth to 2 centimeters. You can set the depth with this little lever here, and there is a guide just in there to tell you how deep it's going. Stick our mask on. You can't see it, but I'm putting it on. You don't really want to be breathing in all of this wood, it's not good for you. And to start, I'm going to move down to here as far as I can back. Start the circular saw and then push in. So before I start the cuts on this video, we are going to be using a circular saw. I should mention as a disclaimer, if you're not confident on using one of these, don't. If you are too young to be using one of these, a child, don't. Do seek help from an adult or someone that does know what they're doing one of these. The blades on these, as you can see, they are incredibly sharp, and at the speed you won't have even an arm left if you have a mistake. So do be careful with those. Let's move on to the cutting. Here we go. Now I've gotten a certain part of the way in, I want to move my body to catch up with it, so I don't want to be leaning over, otherwise you'll end up with a line doing this where you're trying to lean into it. So we want to be holding with both hands on the circular saw and pushing forwards and letting the saw do the work for you. So don't be pushing the saw along. Again, move forward a little bit, so I want it to be perfectly straight. Due to the nature of the circular saw being a straight line on the blade, it's very easy to cut straight lines without having a marker or whatever. You can, but you don't have to. There are little holes along here that you can see. You can actually put brackets in there and it will go along the edge of the board. But for the purpose of this is just fine. Let's go again. Let's get it lined up. And off we go. There we are. That is our 2 boards cut. Ready to go. Perfect straight line. Smoothly cut without too much what do you call it? Splinters coming off of it. Tied it up a little bit, but no, it's spot on, ready to go for us. I just got to cut the rest of it. I forget to say, if you are making a lot of baseboards, the circular saw is a very good investment. It's a lot easier to cut in a straight line, and at the price these are about £30. You can't really go wrong with them. This one was from Argos. And if you're wondering how you get a straight line, they've got a notch in the front where you actually follow the line you've cut, so it makes it very, very easy. I'm just going to cut the final cut, the penultimate cut on this board, sorry, and we'll then look at what we got. So all of me tops of my baseboards are now cut. I'm moving on to making the support structure underneath, so the space where I can put all the electronics under, and to brace the top boards so it doesn't warp. What we have used, I should have mentioned earlier so far, we have used 8 by 4 hardwood ply, and it's 12mm thick, so ½ an inch. I've used 9mm before, and 12mm, and 12mm has always given me the best results, although it is slightly heavier, but it gives you that much extra to screw into should you be screwing in electronics in underneath and the point motors. This is what I would recommend. But 9mm is a good choice if you are moving your layout around fairly often and you want to take it to shows, but you may find that, so for lightness of weight, but you may find that you have to reinforce it with more of the 3x1 or 2x1 timber underneath if you're going for something even lighter still. But here we are now, we're about to measure out our 3x1 timbers, and the way I do it is I measure by feeling up at the end, just down here, to make sure they're perfectly in the line. I just move it around till it is now, and all I do is I then line this end up and use pencil and just mark across where I need to cut, and that's it. I just cut through from there. I will measure that line all the way around and cut through, simple as that. You can measure these instead from the paper, so say this is a 4 foot length board, you cut that 4 foot as well, but if either of your measurements are out by 1mm or 2, your baseboards are not going to line up very well. You're better off, I find, is to measure it to the actual wood that you're cutting it for, and that way it'll always come out flush and you won't have any finishing work to do or any gaps in your baseboards. But we're going to go ahead now, just write put the pencil lines all around this and then cut those. So we have our 3x1 plain timber cut down, ready for the size of the baseboard. The next thing we're going to want to do is find the best side of it. So there's a little notch here that I'm hiding. I'm putting that on the inside. So the baseboard will be here on this side, so that'll be hidden away. That's the only imperfection on this bit of wood, so we're going to move on. And what we're going to do, bit of normal PVA glue. Perfect for this stuff. PVA, how the glue works, it stick it on. What it does, it seeps into the wood and then dries, and it seeps into the wood up and dry, and it'll give us that lovely strong bond that we're after, so that our baseboard is very rigid and immovable. But we'll get some of that out and we'll leave a nice bead of it all along the top of that. And don't worry if there's too much, you can always wipe it off. That'll do. And what I'm going to do, I'm also going to do the other side as well. I've already checked this one for imperfections, so we'll get some glue on there. That's it. And I'll place them out 2.5 feet apart roughly. And I will try to get our baseboard, which I've also checked for imperfections, before I place this on, nice and square on top of them. That looks about right to me. We can always move these up and down, it's not the end of the world should they be out. I'm only doing it by eye. So we'll move that down. Now that's nice and square, that corner piece, what I'll do, I'll put a screw in there so it don't move, and I can line the rest of it up as I go along. He says. There we are. And I'll go along and straighten it out. There we are. It's looking fairly straight now on that side. We'll put some screws along that edge, making sure it's all flush along the edge, which it is. You want it to be as flat as possible along here, so that when you go to paint it, there's not a visible lip along the edge, because that looks bad, and we can avoid that now. So I'm using countersunk 4mm by 25mm screws. I've got a pack of 100 there. That'll do me for a couple of these boards, but I'll probably need to get some more before I finish. And I'm going to do the same to the other side now, so that it doesn't have the tendency to fall over. Let's line this end up. That's lined up. We'll do this a little bit here so it's completely out at this end. There you go, that corner's wonderfully flush. We'll go with that. And I'm going to move you around so you can see what I'm up to. Right there. I'm going to screw into this corner. what that allows me to do is straighten up all the way down. I can push it in or pull it out, whichever. There we go. And then start screwing in screws down the way. They're nice and countersunk, so those screw heads are hidden now underneath the board. Now as we get further down, you do need to check whether it's still flush or not. So it's coming out slightly here, so just push it in gently. Maybe hold it with your foot. Just like that, and that's fine. I'll screw into this bit. Now I'm going about 6 to 8 inches gap with every screw. I feel that gives you the best strength compared to the amount of screws that you're putting in. Any more than that is a waste, any less than that is probably not strong enough, in my opinion. You could probably get away with less, but this just feels right to me. Now, these screws will be hidden, so don't worry if you're worried you can see all the heads of them. You'll be painting over those or touching them up with some filler or whatnot. As I'm going along, I'm adjusting the board so it's not too far out or too far in. That one's gone in wonky. If it goes in wonky, it'll come out, so it'll come out on the side. You don't want that. There we are. That's another one in. The last one, just hold it where you need it, flush. There we are. That is perfect, and I'll just finish the other side off, and I'll come back to you in a minute and show you what to do for the end pieces. So this is the underside of the board. These are the two that I just put on. And the board is lifted up on its end now, and all I do for this part is I get this piece of wood and I measure it by placing it on it, just like that, putting that in slightly in, not much though, otherwise I get the wrong measurement, and then drawing a line down it along here. That's where I want to cut to get this to fit in there perfectly. Double check, yep, spot on. And we'll cut that down now. I won't show you the cutting, it's the same as before. We're just using a jigsaw this time. Instead of a circular blade, it's a straight blade. Makes no difference really. Again, don't use one if you don't know how to use one and need showing first. They are dangerous tools if not used correctly. So that's one freshly cut piece of wood. Now we'll see genuinely whether this actually fits. It should fit snugly, but we will see. There you are, look at that. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. We'll go with that. We'll just take it out again and get some glue on it. And then we'll set that in. In fact, I'll use that to hold it there while I glue it. And then we'll screw that one in too. I'll bring that back down on the floor. big old bead of glue. For this one actually, also I put glue on the insides as well, so along here. Just so that it sets and holds on to the corners quite nicely. I mean, I can screw it too, but the glue's really where all the strength is. Now I have that all lined up. This part of the baseboard is absolutely imperative that you get this flush with the edge. So this will be where it connects to the next baseboard on this side. So this must be completely and utterly flat. Otherwise the baseboards won't connect properly and we'll end up with a gap. Or even worse still, the baseboards rubbing against each other so much at the top that it actually breaks cracks, that sort of thing. So you really do need to get this straight, and there's no excuse not to on this part. If you've done the job wrong at this stage, start this piece again. Otherwise you'll be forever regretting it in the future, because your trains will not run across the boards. They will derail every single time. But this one is fine, so we're going to screw this one down in. And again, remembering to go along, make sure it's always flush. There we go. That's it. I'll do the same to the other end of this board. So we've got an open gap on that end, we've just got to fill up. Once that's done, that's the first baseboard in its basics completed. I will put the cross members in at a later date. I will lay the track on top first so I can see if there's any point motors needing going in, so that I haven't got any cross members in the way of the point motors, you see. But yeah, we'll just get that last one done. There we go, so that is baseboard number 1 done. As you can see there, the ends are nice and strong. You can see it goes all the way around. There is no twisty play, not that much compared to what there was before. That would do the job. That's where we're going to stop in this video. But next week I'll show you how to join the baseboards and build the legs for your layout as well. Keep around for that. See you then. Bye bye.